for any of this stuff to come up again. Like, seriously, when I see people like posting pictures of like people at parties, I'm like, no, like I don't want to have any of that stuff.
Well, they're still posting pictures of their food. They're still posting pictures of what they had for dinner.
Yeah, I don't
and
like
in a restaurant.
Yeah, it's just I'm not ready. There was a picture yesterday on Reddit of the 110 freeway and like gridlock traffic, and I was like, oh no.
Is that happening again?
Yeah.
There's a lot of traffic everywhere. I had to go to Culver City. Oh, you live there. You should know. Today.
Well, why didn't you give me a trip? Yeah. You should have come by.
Yeah, that's right. I could have. Well, you were probably asleep. It was this morning. And it took me a really long time to get there. Plus, people aren't remembering how to drive. At first, I thought it was because the first people that had been vaccinated were older. And so I thought, a couple of weeks ago, I thought, well, everyone on the road is 75 years old. That's why they have their left signals on and they're in the wrong lane and they just stop in the middle of nowhere. But now I guess they just forgot how to drive.
Well, no, maybe just the people maybe like all of the conspiracy theories are right, and this really is the China virus, and nuts.
Oh, and now they're all driving like, okay.
Yeah, maybe
all right,
that's it.
I get it, but I won't repeat it, but yeah.
Well, why not? I mean, if that's the reality, I mean, we should just stick with it.
Well, I was chipped.
Some truths are like hard.
I was chipped. I got my second chip yesterday,
and
no reaction at all.
Oh, really? Let me see. Oh, yeah, I can pick it up right here. Yeah, it's right.
So you can go, if I'm lost, you can go to the police and give them the number and they can...
Yeah, it's the NSA, yeah. You can get it right away. No, it's, I don't know, like, I was hoping that we'd have a new world, and then it looks like that we're getting back to the old one, and I don't like it.
Some of the bad things are. Some of the things are better. I think we're certainly moving closer to... socialized medicine.
We didn't even get universal health care out of it. Yeah. What the fuck was that?
But everyone gets tested for free and treated for free and vaccinated for free.
The World Health Organization said like you should have socialized medicine, and then we like left it.
Yeah. But we got socialized medicine with regard to COVID only.
Yeah,
if you have COVID, if you want to avoid COVID, if you want to know if you have COVID.
No, I had to pay for testing.
Free testing. You had to pay for it then, but now it's all free.
Okay. Certainly north of $100. It's stupid.
The funny thing about the vaccines is if you have insurance, they want to bill your insurance company. But if you don't have insurance, they don't care.
Well, yeah, I just said I didn't have insurance.
Yeah.
Because fuck it, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
Nobody asked me for anything. The first time they did, and they photocopied something, I don't know.
Well, the first time they were like, I take that out some food services. This is like a few days before General.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? As I told you, like I had two opportunities beforehand really early on. So I had somebody who was like a hospice worker. And this is like when it first came out. And they're like, yo, I can hook you up. And I'm like, I'm not so sure, like, we're still getting like the McDonald's employees are still like not allowed to get it yet. Like this is a big deal. Like I don't want to do it. And I forget what the second one was, but
it was age 60 plus.
No, the second opportunity that I had.
Oh.
And I was still not comfortable with it. But then this third one, and people are like, dude, all you got to do is just say you work in food services and just go get it, and you better do it now before like the lines start. So, all right, fine. Yeah. So it's like, I think it was like 2 days before it was open to General. I went in and they said, oh, you work in food services. Like, do you have any proof? It's like, oh yeah, I have a pay stub, but it's on my phone. Let me bring that up. And I go, never mind. Yeah, right? I was like, they're not going to wait for me.
Well, now you don't even need an appointment. You show up.
Give
a card.
But I seriously, like, I did it at UCLA, and I went with like a book. Expect it to be like the DMV where you just sit there. And I showed up right at 10 o'clock for the appointment. And then I looked at my phone when I was done. And I was out in because they make sure that you don't have an allergic reaction or whatever.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
And it was like 10:02. I was like, whoa. It was the fastest thing they have these trucks along the boulevard for people to get HIV tests. It's instant HIV tests. Those things take 5 times longer. Like,
the only thing that bothered me about this, I didn't have to wait. There was nothing there. Was that there's no, and I don't care, but there was no privacy at all. I got it at Vons, and you sit in the paper goods aisle. You sit in the aisle where they're selling toilet paper, and they go down the thing, and they, you're sitting in the chair, and they give it. Roll up your sleeve as people are going by with the carts.
So it was like a 1950s style vaccination.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But there were women with screaming
Have you ever
children.
seen the movie Cry Baby with
Yes.
Johnny Depp? So it was like that, the opening scene when he was getting shot at the beginning.
But there was no, I didn't need any privacy.
And if you haven't seen it, go and see it. At mine there was. And so it was, I did it at Ronald Reagan Hospital at UCLA. And they had the entire sort of, you go in and there's like this lower foyer, which is, huge. It's like the size of a grocery store or something. And then the entire area is set aside. And so they have a waiting area, then they have like the ingest when you go in, and then they have little rooms set up with curtains. Oh. And it was a cubicle.
Yeah.
They didn't pull the curtain or anything like that. I guess that like if you want to,
or if you had to take your shirt off,
or whatever it is, right? But no, they didn't.
I didn't have that, but I was in Culver City this morning for a COVID test for me Monday. And they had like privacy tents. You go in, and in that case, it's just a guy sticking something up your nose.
Isn't that a funny feeling?
It didn't hurt at all. It tickled.
Yeah.
And then I sneezed.
Well, not only, but you were like, I didn't know something could go that far up my nose. And you're like, oh, shit.
Well, I've been practicing for a long time.
There's that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he has a tracker up his nose.
Is it Terminator?
No. It's we brought it up beforehand. It was based on a Philip K. Dick book.
Yes.
But he puts like some kind of pliers up his nose to pull it out.
No.
And I felt like it was going up that far. It
didn't hurt though.
No, it doesn't hurt.
Tickled.
It's just weird.
It was a little strange.
It's just odd.
And I didn't get the results, so I don't know what happened.
Well, but why did you go?
Because I have a meeting on Monday that they're requiring everyone that goes into
even if you're vaccinated, huh?
Well, I guess it wouldn't. I was just vaccinated yesterday. I guess it's 14 days. Yeah. I don't know. They didn't. I also wasn't vaccinated when they set up the meeting, or I didn't have the second vaccination. Mm-hmm. But they're requiring everyone to do it. No big deal. Whatever. I just didn't like driving to Culver City and driving back.
Right, of course not. So yeah, there's so people are starting to like schedule things again. Which again, I don't.
Yes, I have something on Monday, as I said, in person. I'm glad I went to the dentist. I went to the eye doctor. I got a haircut. I'm all set
today
to see human beings.
I went to that business meeting where it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But the people that they extended their hand for a handshake.
Oh, I haven't seen
that.
And
I did it.
Oh, did you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, cooties.
I know, right?
Yeah. Wow, I thought that was going to go away. I thought that was one we were giving up, the handshake.
I mean, look, like the people I was meeting with, have north of $100 million.
Oh, then
and so when a person that has like over $100 million says, "Shake my hand," you shake their fucking hand. Like, and also, if you're talking about people who aren't infected with COVID,
they probably got the vaccination 2 years ago before we even knew COVID existed.
Right? Yeah, they're good. Yeah, we're not talking about the kitchen worker.
So speaking of that, I wanted to. I'm losing my microphone here. I want to ask you about your proposed thing with the 2% cash back or the 3% cash back on your credit cards.
Okay, so should I explain it first?
Well, explain it, and then I'll tell you what I think I've discovered.
This should be like, make sure it's at the right level. Yeah, professional, right?
Well, I'm wearing a T-shirt. I didn't think it through. I should have worn a suit, and it went on my tie.
So normally speaking, merchant account fees for credit cards are around 2.7 to 2.9%. And then there is a small transaction fee. What the hell did I just say? So what I mean is that whenever you go down to swipe your card at like a gas station, the credit card company collects a fee from that. And depending on lots of factors, it's between it can go as low as 2.5, I think. But generally speaking, it's between 2.7 and 2.9. And if you're a nobody, it's about 2.9. What this means is that if I had a credit card that gave me 5% cash back, then what I could do, maybe, is set up an account with Stripe or any e-commerce account to collect payment on one side. Then on the other side, I use my 5% cashback credit card. I charge $20,000. Then, the credit card company takes their pick, but then they give me the 5% cash back, which is a bigger number than 2.9.
Yeah.
And then I collect the difference and then walk away.
Okay. Well, I have one question. That's a really big thing. So even a mom and pop store that's they sell you something for $1,000, which is unheard of. They make a dresser for you or a bed, and they sell it to you for $1,000. The credit card company is taking $290.
No, it's 2.9.
Oh, $29.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not too bad.
No. And sometimes they'll give you a discount if it's cash. I don't know if you've ever dealt with that before.
Oh yeah, I have seen that.
That's illegal. You're not supposed to do that.
Well, it's illegal to go the other way. It's illegal to charge more for a credit card.
Well, no, it's that you have to charge both amounts. But when I say illegal, I mean contractually illegal.
Contractual.
There's no law.
I'm talking about the state law. Used to be that you couldn't charge more for the use of a credit card.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, but
there's the other thing because
yeah.
Since there is a flat transaction fee for everything, is that when they say no credit cards under $10 or whatever it is, because the flat transaction fee might be 40 or 50 cents or and it's just not even worth it.
Yeah,
that's totally legal to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Legal, not illegal.
So what I found out was there is thousands, as in any business, the business writes the laws, and the bankers lobbied for these confusing credit card regulations and banking regulations that are all in the bank's favor, of course.
Right, of course.
Everything protects the bank. They can never go to jail. No one can never get arrested. They never did anything wrong. They can always take your money.
That's why I always look for
protection at
every opportunity to take every penny.
Right.
Because every penny from them is a sweet summer strawberry.
But the other thing is, there is such a incredible amount of these regulations. They have gone through this with a fine-tooth comb and tried to figure out, and I'm not saying this one specifically, every single thing people can do that will help them, and they've made that illegal. So
right, but will I get caught?
Possibly, well, that's a different question. But it's quite possibly illegal to own a company and charge yourself with your own credit card.
Yeah, but they're going to cancel a stupid credit card I don't want? I mean, give me a fucking... And what I think is a bigger problem here is taxes.
Oh, is it income?
Because, right?
I don't know. I bet the IRS would say it's income.
Yeah, but even though I'm passing money around to myself, that goes in through a credit card transaction, and that's a sale.
I would say, well, they do say it's very specific, legal or illegal. You have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah, I think so.
I would say the IRS would say you'd have to make the argument that it's not.
And my tax liability there is probably more than 1%.
Well, it's a sale. That's right. So you'd have to pay tax on the entire amount as income. Oh, right. Yeah.
That's the wrinkle. If that's not there, then I think you can... because we've done this before. So what we've done before is there are... occasionally, I get like 5% cash back at grocery stores. And then I'll go in and I'll buy like $2,000 in Visa gift cards.
Yeah.
And then I'll get my 5% cash back. And then
you go back in the same store and spend the Visa gift card.
Exactly. Yeah. And so then I end up getting more money out of it than and it's just a cash conversion.
Again,
the rules say you're not allowed to do that.
Right.
But it works.
And I bet the IRS would say, unconcerned with whether it's legal or not, which is a banking regulation, I bet the IRS would say you have to pay tax on that 5%.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
It would be a different group that would charge you with the crime.
The reason that this would really sort of make a big difference is in this scheme, basically you'd be collecting 1.1%.
Yeah. And
if you were to do this thing real, what you would do is basically whatever your credit card max is approved at, let's say it's $10,000, right? So you max out the card by transferring the money from one account to the other. You wait for it to clear. Then you take that money out, pay off the card. Then you repeat.
Yeah.
With the same dollar, same $10,000. You just pass it around in a huge loop, right? And then that loop will take, I don't know, 2 or 3 days or something like that. And so at the end of a month, then you would have done maybe $100,000 worth, right?
Yeah.
And so you say, cool, then I get to walk away with $1,000. Now, the only reason that you'd ever want to do that is that you're screwing out the bank $1,000.
Right.
It's not about the money. It's about taking money from the bank. That's the sweetness of it.
Right.
I could just donate it to charity. I don't really need the money. I just want to take it away from Wells Fargo or whoever.
Yeah.
The thing is that then if the IRS comes and said, oh, well, you made $100,000 and the tax rate now is 17%, or whatever, 20%. Then you're screwed. Then you owe them $20,000.
Then what you'd have to do.
But you only had 10 to begin with.
The fix for this is you have to do it so many times that you make millions of dollars, in which case you don't have to pay taxes.
Oh, that's right.
So once you hit like $3-4 million, you're not paying.
And you don't pay
taxes
anything.
Anyway. Yeah,
that's right.
So you'd have to do it for a couple of months, make what would effectively maybe be $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 in real money, but be passing through $5 million, and at that amount of income, you can get away without paying taxes.
Boom, you're a genius. So what we first need to do is I need to get my credit score up to about 850, the highest possible. Yeah. So then I go off and apply for the credit card, and then they give me like $100,000 limit.
American Express routinely gives $100,000.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. So it's an easiest one. Also, but I believe they have a higher. People don't like to take American Express because they have a higher rate, or maybe they don't negotiate. Maybe they say it's 2.9.
This was an introductory rate for this card.
Oh,
and so it was only good for 30 days. It was a special deal.
Oh,
so,
well then you're
So you'd have to. So that's what I'm saying is that you'd have to bring this person in, and extra as a deal. Then you get that high percentage yield, and then you just cycle through for 30 days. Then you just pull out and you cancel the card.
How fast? But in 2021, where everything is electronic, you should have the money right away. You should be able to, if you're running a business and you have to wait 3 days for a credit card to clear. I know your business plan should include that, but it does seem like you should be able to. What I'm saying
is that like so here's what it'd be. So once it goes into the Stripe account or whatever, then when you want to transfer it to your bank, then you're dealing with a regular ACH delay.
Yeah.
Right. And you can they have an instant transfer feature now, but I think that maxes out at like $500 or $1,000 or something like that.
That's nothing.
There's a limit.
Yeah.
And there's all these weird limits on it, and I don't know why there are, but it's
Well, maybe for just this purpose. Also,
it's weird because I could transfer $100,000 in Bitcoin and nobody cares.
Yeah. Well, there's also the suspicious transaction is if you are charging $100,000 a day to Chris's Company Incorporated.
What's so fishy about this?
Every day $100,000.
Well, I don't know. 3 million transactions? Yeah. What do you mean?
That might get It's surprising how well credit card companies, we've all figured this out. We've all gotten a call from our credit card companies that say, the legitimate calls where they say, don't tell me your number, don't tell me anything. Did you buy $450,000 of shoes in, Wheeling, West Virginia? And you say no, and then you never hear
Say no, I also did not buy a Sony shirt or some red pants.
Yeah.
The thing is like, what's it to you and how much do you need?
Yeah, right.
just try to bribe off.
It's funny how they don't seem to question other things that would be seemingly more obvious.
Like your massive dodo collection.
Right. Well, that I always charge. You get the 3% back. But I flew to, a couple of years ago, I flew to Colorado, but I didn't buy the tickets because it was a company thing.
Okay.
Some show or something I was doing. I was on a panel in Colorado. So someone gave me the tickets. I got on the plane. And when I went there...
Hollywood stuff, right?
Yeah, Hollywood stuff.
Yeah.
I bought stuff.
Yeah.
And no credit card company called me and said, how did you, what are you doing in Colorado?
Because the kind of stuff that you bought there was characteristic of what you usually bought.
Yeah.
What
I went to a restaurant.
Yes, yeah. But here's the difference, is that when I buy something like Best Buy, then I get flagged. Yeah. Because I never shop at Best Buy. But I had to do it in January to pick something up, and it wasn't a big ticket item, but it was like $50 or something.
So like you're testing the card. Like you're testing the card.
Right away got flagged. Because I never bought. I never did that.
Maybe this says something about me. I bought something in Kmart once. Immediately. Yeah. It was flagged.
Yeah. Because there's certain sort of like.
It was not.
Like there's patterns that you do where you don't.
I don't know, but they see.
Yeah, exactly. And so like. They see you buying at Starbucks or something, they don't care. But if they see you buying, I don't know, whatever.
Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, Victoria's Secret, or a liquor store or whatever. Yeah, something that would be normal to somebody else.
Or there's no charges for a hooker that week. Wait a second. Is he all right? Has someone kidnapped him?
But
there's no charges for hookers and blow.
What I've said for a long time, and I've actually done this with you more than once, is whenever you find a credit card on the ground.
Oh, you do
is you walk down the street and then you give everybody free time at the parking meter one after the other, chink 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 chink, and then you charge up like $100 worth of parking meter fees.
Well, the weird
and then
thing
you
is
throw the thing away in a trash can.
It probably wasn't $100. It was probably like $9 because it's 25 cents each. But still, it was a lovely gift.
And the funniest thing about this is that like I can just imagine a phone call. Hi, this is a credit card company. Did you buy 44 hours of parking
from 26 cars? Did you just keep moving down the street and charge more parking?
It's a parking jubilee. And I recommend everybody do that. Because you know what? Like, they're not going to claw it back from the city. The city makes their money.
That's the only thing you can do that, because in a gas station, which is where people used to test credit cards, you have to put in your zip code.
Zip code, exactly.
Yeah.
And these things, well, that's the other thing, is that there's no cameras.
Yeah.
There's no testing. There's no nothing.
Because it's literally 25 cents.
At the end of the day, it's not a big amount of money.
The max in any
like
part in
$2 or
Los Angeles is $2. And the max you can put in a parking meter anywhere in the county of Los Angeles is $2.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest ripoff you can do. But it does test to see if the card's working.
Well, the other part about that is that like if I went out and bought like some jewels or something like that, then the credit card company could fight to claw that money back because it was fraudulently charged or whatever, right? But they're not going to claw back $1.75. Right.
They're just going to give it to the guy that
they're
calls.
They're just going to eat it.
Yeah.
So this is also...
Or what probably happened is he realized he lost his credit card, he called the credit card company, and the woman there said, did you just, fill 61 parking meters with 25...
So what do we end up doing? We end up costing the banks more money, which cha-ching we love, and then I end up, donating bank money to the city
people
fund.
Did not get a ticket. Yes.
Well, that goes in general fund, right?
Yes.
And so I end up like doing my civic duty.
And some drunken idiots that forgot how
don't get a parking ticket.
Their meter went.
This is the closest thing to Robin Hood you can be in the 21st century.
That's right. Right. You did some good work there.
This is the arrow in my quiver is finding.
What's funny is almost. Not that I'm in an ATM that often, but it's a rare ATM that I go to that doesn't already have a card sticking out of it from the last guy. One time I knew the guy. It was, Howard left his card here.
What did you buy?
I got, at first I filled all the parking meters, and then I went to Best Buy.
You got flagged immediately.
Yeah.
Okay. This was so fun. You know, we're almost halfway done. So let's go back.
Okay. Now, this is my overall thing is, instead of getting better, this book is getting more dull and more calm and kind of less
Something almost happened this time.
Something almost happened. And also the government has begun to notice that people are dying, and they're almost kind of admitting it.
Yeah.
And this is so far we're at 2 chapters.
Yeah.
It's about
150 pages.
150 pages, and it's just treading water.
So basically, what's happening right here is that the city. This is like an old European city that has like a wall. So back then you couldn't actually leave on your own accord. You were kind of walled in, and there was like gates, and so they have guards that you know sort of they say what goes in and out of the city. And then this person's trying to escape the city. And, you know, there's about 20 or 30 pages. And you're like, oh, is it going to happen? Oh, no, it's not happening. Is it going to happen? No,
it's not happen ever. I'm really, if at 150 pages out of, there's only about 250, is it 250 pages?
Well, there was a new scene that was opened. We now know about a bar that we didn't know about beforehand.
All right. But, so you know what? It just was more. It was more typing. I don't know what this was.
You think he was paid by the word? I mean,
he was paid by the word, or that thing where you put 100 monkeys in front of 100 typewriters for 100 years. I don't. I'm even more confused about how this became a classic.
You know what would be funny is if we actually run into somebody who's like French and like, you're reading the English one? Oh, it's so terrible. They rewrote it entirely.
Well, if we're probably not reading the same translation, or we're certainly not reading the same physical book. So
no.
If someone was joking, someone was only joking for one of us.
A piece of it broke off like this.
That was the best part.
Stuart Gilbert is the.
I don't remember.
That is a very white name.
Yeah, I don't remember. It doesn't sound French.
Yeah.
There was, and again, I'm getting more bored with the narration. There's no omnipotence to this guy. He's describing what's going on in
100 pages left. That's it.
In the most clinical.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's play a game. So that means that. So right now, what we can do is that next week we are at the end of section 2. So do we want to go?
3 is only like 40 pages.
Yeah. So do we want to? Let's just do another 50 pages, right?
All right. Yeah.
So that means that'll take us midway through part 4. So I'm not going to ask you specifically what's going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen.
Okay. Yeah. So do you think the person's going to leave the city or get out?
Oh yeah. Well, you know, I said
because there's a love interest.
But something has to happen. Something has to happen, and one of these guys has to die.
Okay, well that's the other thing. Yeah. Okay, do you think a character's going to die?
Yeah, I think so but they describe them so clinically, that I'm not sure how much I care. I like the idea because then something's happening.
Again, that's what we had beforehand, is that these are nice people, but I don't feel for them.
Yeah, and they don't seem very excited, and they just
and I can't differentiate them either.
Yeah, that's a problem too.
Yeah,
I have to keep wondering, but only because one's a doctor. That's the only way I know that one of them.
Right, but I mean, there's a couple characters here, but like they're not distinct enough. No. That's one of the sort of classic things as a sitcom writer is that you have to make a distinction.
Have to draw unique characters.
Right. Is that you can't just have 2 kids that are similar to each other.
Even more so, it used to be in, and now we've discovered in radio, they have to be even more different because you don't get the different looks.
But here's a question for you though. Home Improvement. What was the difference between the 3 kids? Was there a difference?
Oh, I think there was. I didn't watch that show much, but one was the smart one, one was the stupid one was the... Well, the Full House...
What was the difference between the
in fact, twins? The twins were... You know that the twins played one person.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Doesn't count. But I did a show with
the twins when they were growing up.
I know you did.
And one was a little more tomboyish, played more sports, and one was a little more studious.
But was that reflected in how they...
Well, we made it, yeah. They weren't in real life. In real life, they were the same.
Oh, I see, right.
In the characters. But we had to do that. Otherwise, there's no story. There's no dynamic. Right? If they both say, what do you want to have for dinner? Let's have pizza. Okay, let's go for pizza. And then they leave. Unless the other one says, I don't want pizza, you have nothing going on.
Yeah, I was looking...
It doesn't have to be a fight, but there has to be a
like,
difference.
Different kinds of characters and, the archetypes. Carl Jung, the philosopher, wrote something called the Jungian Archetypes. Very interesting list. But yeah, and so, it's like, I was trying to think of like a good one, something that was really well structured around sort of like, with nice sort of character dynamics and everything really set up well. And the one movie I came up with was Back to the Future.
Oh yeah. Yes, that is good. I mean, I'm sure there's more than that because it's.
You have the nemesis of Biff.
You have the.
You have the mentor.
You have the sweet.
You have the MacGuffin. You have everything is there with the dynamics of. I think that one was structured by the book.
I think a lot of television shows are like that. I think you can get a lot of
the family sitcom dynamics are pretty standard.
They almost always do the smart child and the stupid child, and they do
Simpsons.
The messy child and the That's always. But even Married with Children, there was the sexually active, beautiful girl that barely showed up for class in high school, and the studious son that wanted to go to college.
But
couldn't get a girl.
Yeah, I've wanted to try to exploit. I think that if I had a stand-up persona, and what would work for me, I think that what would that Bundy. What's his first name?
Al?
No, the son.
Oh, Bud.
Bud Bundy, I think, would be a good persona for me.
Couldn't get girls?
Anything. Yeah, it's going up there. Pretending like I'm a player and then disclosing I'm a virgin and that I'm really sort of a clumsy klutz.
And that even your parents make fun of you.
Yeah. I can't get no respect. I think that would.
I'm going to have a date. Of course you are, Bud.
But but that's the thing is that you have to, if you want to do that stand-up, you have to find something that works for what you look like or who you are or something like that. And, if it's just I heard a statement this week basically saying there's a time where successful comedians are no longer funny because now they're just joking about rich people stuff.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's really true.
It is.
That's really true. When
you like Louis C.K.
Restaurant, right?
Yeah.
About flying on planes even.
Right. Yeah. Because that's the thing is that Louis C.K. used to do plane flight jokes.
Yeah.
And his early ones, it was always economy class.
Right.
And then in the later ones, always first class. He never actually stated it, but the kinds of problems that he was dealing with and the kinds of jokes he made, dude, he's just flying first class. You can tell that stuff.
But what's funny is that in the original, that's the flying on planes is one of the original tropes that stand-up comedians always did because they were always on tour. And by the 50s and certainly the 60s, they were all flying on planes. But in 1960, 1962,
most people hadn't flown a plane.
It was a really big deal to be on a plane.
Yeah.
A couple of guys had been in the war, but other than that, people hadn't been on planes. The stewardess is terrible. I've never even, and people would say, I haven't seen a plane. I've never been on a plane. They still used to, well into the 80s even, a certain generation would dress up to get on a plane. They'd wear a suit and tie if they were flying. It was a big deal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the first plane I was on, there was a porter that came on down. There was somebody playing the piano off in the corner.
That's right.
So somebody threw some ink on my face. And said, watch out, porter.
And did you have a berth?
Like a second level?
I never understood that at all. That very Three Stooges, Abbott and Costello, the Marx Brothers, where they'd be in a train and there'd be berths, and I guess that was where the seats are, and at night they'd pull it down and you'd sleep up and below.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Like in Some Like It Hot?
Yeah, but I guess that's before train travel. If you went anywhere...
Have I ever seen one of those in life?
No.
The question...
But if you went anywhere, you went on a train. You didn't go on a plane till at least the 70s.
I have seen.
Oh, where did you see one of those?
Europe.
Oh, the berths where... So at night the seats go away and the berths come down?
So
or is it a separate car?
I was going from Amsterdam to Belgium, and it was a very long train, and I walked up and down the train to see what it was, and there were a few of those that had it, and it was very clinical and clean and stuff, and you had to
it wasn't funny, and all three brothers weren't sleeping in the same.
You had to scan a card in order to get in or whatever. But it wasn't for my train ride. Yeah. But when they were going to Vladivostok or whatever it is, I'm sure that those are used.
Because even in I Love Lucy, which was the mid to late 60s, when they went to California on the California arc, they took the train. And when they were flying back, because they probably wanted to end the story already, they flew back. It was such a big deal. Lucy was so excited. We're going to get on a plane. We're going to go on a plane back. Yeah. It was unbelievable. So comedians that we're talking about plane flight.
Today, I took a public bus.
Oh, I've never been on one of those in LA.
So, yeah, of course, you're too rich for it. No, so what had happened was that I was going to go to my business meeting. And I picked up a car that needed a test, and so I can drive to my business.
Speaking of too rich, your car is a Tesla.
Well, I don't own it.
Yeah, all right.
It's just this is something I'm testing.
Yeah.
I don't get to keep it.
Let them try to pry it out of your cold dead ass.
They can have it back anytime. I don't care because I have other cars I can access. Yeah. But I was looking up how much it would take to Uber to my boss's place, and it was like $40. I was like, I'm not going to do that, and plus, I don't want to give money to Uber because they're like, with all the
$3 of those dollars would go to the driver.
Well, $3 exactly. They're screwing over the drivers. They're like manipulating our laws, and I don't want any of that. So, well, what about? And so I was like, is there an alternative to Uber? And I was like, wait a second, what about public transit?
Speaking of socialism. They didn't charge you on the bus, right?
No, it was free.
The buses are free. They have been for over a year.
So I'm saying I just got on and I sat there and it was fine.
I didn't know that. Except I have no place to go.
And the Uber
still wouldn't be on a bus if
was
I did.
$40 and it would have taken me 30 minutes. The bus took me 45
and was free.
It was free.
Yeah, they don't charge on the buses.
And so I was like,
it's socialized everything. Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Why would I? I'm just going to do this all the time. Yeah. Like I'd rather drive because it's easier. But if I don't have to,
yeah,
or if I can't, like here, because I had to pick up the car, right?
Yeah.
So, and we're going to open up our new office soon, and it's like one train stop away, so it's good. Maybe I'll start to take
from where I live.
Yeah. So.
Oh well, then take the. Do they charge the train?
Yeah, they do.
Oh. Even if they do, so what's it?
$1.75.
That's still
which again,
probably cheaper than driving your car.
Well, we're going back to this thing is that I don't care buying things as long as the money is going to something I like.
Yeah.
And so at this point, it's going to go to building more trains.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to send money off to Uber.
It's one stop? Is it a mile?
It's
You could. Is
it
walking distance? Is it bicycling difference?
It's about 2.5 to 3 miles.
Oh, you could certainly bicycle it.
Yeah, I could bicycle it easily, right? Yeah, there's no problem bicycling. It's just that I was realizing today if we get the office, we don't have it yet. Like I was like, oh, that's actually pretty close to the train stop, So it'd be really convenient for me to just because when I was working in Santa Monica, that's what I did. Is that like I would read a book, walk off the train, get on, and then it was a great commute because it's just I'm not anti-driving, but I am anti-driving to work. Like I'd much rather take a bus or something else that I don't have to deal with.
If you don't have to go to anywhere else after work or
it's much more relaxing.
Where you work, you could just take another car out of the lot.
That's right. I have access to all these vehicles.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're at 40 minutes. Let's go with treats.
Okay, let's
get some new treats this week.
From the TCL Chinese Theater.
We'll start with this one. This one is prawn crackers.
Okay, let's read about it first. Oshi prawn crackers. Now, prawns, of course, are big shrimp, which is, what's the word for that? And when something is, when it conflicts with itself in its own sentence, big shrimp.
Oh yeah, I understand. It's a whatever.
Yeah, it's one of those. And what this has in it?
Professional writer.
Yeah, but I just had my second shot.
Contradiction. But
no, that's not the word. There's a word for it.
Yeah.
It's
It doesn't matter.
It's
This is bad. This is bad video.
Yeah.
So
it's an oxymoron.
Okay.
It's an oxymoron.
I think that's my laundry detergent.
Okay, that's right. And it's also some guys I went to elementary school with. They were oxymorons. This has wheat, tapioca starch, corn starch, vegetable starch, coconut oil, sugar.
So it says,
salt,
"Oh wow" on the
shrimp.
top of it. Oh, good.
It's got shrimp in it, so it is real prawn, and then a bunch of chemicals.
Right. My favorite chemicals.
And like these things, these foreign things, they're surprisingly low in sodium, surprisingly low in salt for a snack.
So cracker. I think I got this at
a car wash.
No, in Indonesia. It was one of the Muslim markets.
Okay.
But I forget what the.
Did they call you my friend?
Might be Cambodian.
Might
be Cambodian. But
I have a friend
they have pictures of prawns on top of the.
Oh right, I like that they're dancing.
Yeah, they're dancing.
There's dancing prawns.
But that's the barcode, so they're on top of that. Well, let's see. This is from the Philippines. Sorry, it's the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
So
Which is like Cambodia.
Yeah. It's one of
with Mexican names.
One of the Mexicans of Asia. Yes, I'm really racist today.
There's a scissor over here. But I'd rather you did it. Right on that table. Wow, these are
the kind of scissors that my grandma would have back in the day.
They may have been my grandma. These are the good scissors, right? Are these the things you refer to?
Do you ever sharpen them?
I know. I didn't know you could. I probably had that pair of scissors since Grandma left it in my... What? I didn't know you could sharpen scissors. Yeah, how do you do that? I would just throw them out and get new ones.
No. You sharpen them with a knife. There's many ways to sharpen scissors.
All right. Okay, smell it first. Smell it.
Oh, God. Okay, so smell it and then tell me. It smells like...
Oh, it's awful.
It smells like a fish store.
No, it's worse. It smells like outside a fish store, like, where before they've hosed down the loading dock.
Or a seafood restaurant, maybe.
A bad seafood.
Yeah.
Fresh seafood doesn't smell bad. Only rotten seafood smells bad.
Go for it. It's mild. Everything else is super mild, right?
It's very mild, not very salty.
Yeah.
Has a slight fishy taste.
Inoffensive. Just like the egg potato chips were.
It's not bad, but it's not...
yeah, it's not great. I don't know, It's
like... tastes like a potato chip that you've put in the dryer with a fish.
Well, somebody must really like it if they import it from the Philippines.
Maybe Filipinos like it, but again, they eat fried blood, so this is less than that.
Yeah. Yeah, the Filipino food is not really well known.
It's very light.
So
not salty, which is okay. Fishy, which is of course the point.
Indian is the next one.
Okay, India. Let me cleanse my palate.
This thing is called chakalu, crispy rice flour crackers, and this is from Chicago. A great place in India, and it. Storage conditions. Oh, I'm so glad it has it on there. Were nuts such as almonds and cashews and peanuts. No
this
peanut
sounds
allergy.
Like it's going to be sweet.
Rice flour white. It just says white.
Oh, there's some white in here.
Yeah, just the color white in here.
Maybe it should be white out. Maybe they put some...
No, rice flour, white, oil, corn.
Just plain oil. Oh, maybe it's supposed to be flour white, oil corn. They don't speak English.
Like
it's a bad translation.
Yeah, white flour, corn oil, green onion. Yeah, that's so crazy. Oh, that's right. Look at it. Last ingredient. I want you to read it.
Salt table.
Yeah, it has a table in here. Okay.
Okay, let's smell it first.
It smells like a table.
Okay, it actually smells like a garage in your house, like where half open, half inside, half outside.
It's like a potato chip. It's spicy.
This is good.
Yeah.
It's a not salty potato chip with like chili in it. Maybe there's a spice or coriander.
Mm-hmm. And green onion.
It's pretty spicy and it's pretty crunchy.
Yeah. Crispy rice flour crackers. Not bad.
Or Rice Krispie crackers flour.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't bad. Too spicy for me.
USA on the top of it, which is so. Oh yeah, it is definitely spicy.
Yeah, it's a little spicy, but I get this one. At least this one I get. If you like spicy.
Yeah, it's a. So I still have some. Oh God, yeah, that's
yeah.
That's. It doesn't look. Maybe.
But maybe in India that's just a standard thing.
No, they're like, what? I made it bright orange, like the label's in red. Like, what didn't you see? Like, does this look mild to you?
Well, maybe if you're Indian, you know what this word means.
Yeah. Abahiruchi, that's spice of death.
That's right. Spice you can't get rid of.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. That's a spice challenge. All right. So, we got 13 minutes.
Oh.
Let me look at my notes.
Let's see what we have.
All right. Okay. And the other thing is that there's a bunch of things here that I was going to talk about, but oh God, where the fuck are my notes?
You have a diary. Do you have a little key for it?
Okay. Oh, we didn't even get onto the big topic of the day, which we're not going to get into, but we can do a little intro. So, I want to talk about toxic relationships. And the question is, how does a relationship turn toxic? Now, when you go online, it's mostly couples therapy that you look up, but I am interested in non-romantic. And there's a couple questions I've had. And I've gotten a couple books on it that I've been looking into. And we can go into a deeper dive next week because we don't have the time. But you have a good relationship with somebody. You value that relationship. You want to continue it. But for some reason, like, everything just feels like you're in an argument.
An argument or a competition?
It just doesn't feel right.
Wow.
It's not collaborative.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of, and like, you're both trying to be polite, but it's clearly like there's some bad energy, right? And the question is, how does it get there? And it's, and like, if you sat, this happened to me a few times. And if you sat down and asked me, like, what do you think about this person? I'm like, well, I think they're actually a very decent person. Like I've got no animosity towards them. And I respect them. And I think they work hard. And I think they're competent. But for whatever reason, we always want to strangle each other. And I'm sure that if you ask that person, they'll say the same damn thing. So, and it's like, how, and you say, well, how did it start? And you're like, well, it was actually very nice. We liked each other a lot. But then something happened. So the question, how does it get there? And how do you get out of it?
And what have you discovered so far? Do you think most relationships get there? So this is a rare occurrence.
I think it depends on the person. Have you ever had this happen to you?
Yes.
Yeah. And you just kind of just cut it off, right?
Well, you certainly need to take some time.
You cut it off, but I don't know who this person or people are in your life. But if I ask you, like, do you still think that person is an upstanding, respectable person? You'd probably say, yeah.
Probably, but you don't want to admit it anymore.
Right, exactly. Yeah, right. But you feel like you want, somehow they've become an enemy in your mind. And you're like, why? You know? How do I get past
go back
that?
to the word competition again. That when that's happened, I feel that somebody or both people have something to prove and are unable to prove it.
You know,
or one person.
There's another part to that's I go back to this. A guy named Jim McCarthy wrote a book called Dynamics of Software Development in 1995. I don't know how I remember that, but he wrote a chapter called The Bozo Bit, which is something that's stuck with me ever since I read it. And watch, I'm going to go home and I'll be like, no, it wasn't that guy at all. Like, you had every detail wrong. Basically, it's this, he borrows it from the computer. A bit is like a light switch, right? Yeah. And then says, basically, there's some people out there that will have a light switch in their head, and one setting is this person is fine, and the other setting is this person's an idiot. And sometimes people will just switch that. And so any word that comes out of that person's mouth, or anything that they do, you say, well, that person's an idiot. That's why, it doesn't matter. Like, they somehow go to Mars or something. Like, well, of course they did. They sent us there. And it's this kind of thing where, like, a poetic way of doing it, one that, like, I don't know, like Immanuel Kant would have said, or the old classics. They would say, like, you can go from good to bad faith.
Yeah.
And then everything that the person does, you take in bad faith. It's like the worst, most nefarious and scrupulous thing. And the question is, like, why? Because even when you're aware of that, and even when you're like, I don't want that to happen to me because, like, that's stupid, and most people aren't, scoundrels, you still do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you catch yourself, and you're like, wait a second. I flipped that light switch on them. And now I think that everything that they do is just retarded. Right? There's like nothing good can come out of that person. I think that like a good sort of opposite that switch in the other direction, like pulled up to the max, is the movie Being There with Pete Sellers. Where you have this guy who is a real dimwit, but everybody thinks that he is profound. Yeah. Right? And they take his really dumb, he talks about gardening.
Near perfect movie, yeah.
Right? And he's like, well, in a garden, you need to tend it well, or whatever. Like, and gardening is hard.
If the roots take, yeah.
And he's actually talking about, like, the real act of gardening, but in the context of how he's talking about it, it sounds like he's talking about national politics. Yeah. Right? Or he's like some kind of everyman of decency or something. And so, like, everything that he says is actually just idiocy, but it's taken as if, like, some kind of sage wisdom. It's I don't know. So I meant to do sort of like a whole rundown on what this is and what
this
other
would be
people.
The tease for when you do that.
Well, nobody watches this far. I could just get up and, like, run in front of the camera naked.
Much like the plague, people have tuned out.
Well, once we started opening up the food, they're like, oh God, we're doing this shit again.
The food again.
But we'll see what happens next week.
All right.
It's good.
Another 50 pages of the plague.
That's right.
And some more funny.
And then I have to find more pages in here. I actually have a lot of stuff in here, of stuff that I want to talk about.
Notes.
Oh, are you kidding? Yeah, there's just pages of crap for the show that I never get around to.
All right.
So.
Okay, good.
All right, I think that's it. Let's go off my Tesla.
I looked at my mail shows up.